The NFL season is right around the corner, and you guys get to see what my award predictions are going to be for all the major awards entering the NFL season. These are all awards that I would bet on happening for a variety of different reasons, which we will break down in today's video. If you guys do enjoy this video, stay tuned for tomorrow as we will have my official NFL season predictions going up and live. And then with week one of the college football season coming up, we are going to be having a ton of prospect spotlights, a super weekend here, kicking off Thursday, going all the way till Sunday. So if you guys do enjoy NFL draft, college football, NFL content, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Tons of videos coming out over the next few days, so stay tuned for that. We're going to be going over some of the major awards here. So that's going to be Coach of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year, and MVP. I think I got some controversial takes in here that I'm really interested to see kind of how you guys feel about them. Also have a new video format I'm going to be trying out today. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my Patreon, which I'll leave linked below, and use my code JWAC to get double your initial deposit on Underdog Fantasy. Let's go ahead and kick this off with the Coach of the Year award, which I think is going to go to my guy Shane Steichen. Is there a little bit of bias here? Probably, but I think Shane Steichen should have been in the running last year. This was a Colts team that many expected to be one of the worst teams in football last year. I pushed back on that narrative. I'm like, the Colts have a very talented roster top to bottom. They shouldn't be in the bottom half, and they were a game away from the playoffs. I think he did just as good of a job as DeMeco Ryans, who was one of the finalists for this award. Shane Steichen runs a very diverse offense here, and when you got a guy like Anthony Richardson, I think it's going to open up the playbook for this Colts team even more, where you can use the RPO game, you can use the threat of Anthony Richardson's legs, you can use that deep arm, which Gardner Minshew really didn't have. You're going to see a lot more deep shots to Alec Pierce. You're going to see a lot more shots to Adonai Mitchell. This is a team that I think is going to run the ball very effectively this upcoming season. You got a full year of Jonathan Taylor. The offensive line is healthy. And that's the other part about his campaign last year where I thought he should have gotten the award. This team was so banged up on both sides of the ball. You take a closer look at it. Anthony Richardson, your starting quarterback, goes down for the whole year. Jonathan Taylor, the starting running back, he's dealing with some contract disputes. He's out for at least half the season. You got offensive linemen cycling in. We got way too much Blake Freeland last year, who was absolutely horrible for the Colts when he was on the field. Now you've got health. Braden Smith, top 10, arguably a top 5 right tackle in the league. He's going to be fully healthy this year. Your center and Ryan Kelly will be healthy. They've got more depth. They're healthy, and they've got a third-place schedule. I think Indy is – stay tuned. I think Indy's not only going to be in the playoffs, I think they got a very real shot to win the division. And if they do win the division, I think Shane Steichen is going to be the Coach of the Year. I think he's got all the tools in place. He's got the offense. He's an offensive mastermind, an excellent play caller. I think Shane Steichen is going to take home this Coach of the Year award. Now moving on to Comeback Player of the Year. This is an award that's really up in the air. You obviously got guys like Joe Burrow who's coming back. Anthony Richardson has a lot of hype for this award. But I kind of went basic with this one. I do think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the New York Jets. The last time we saw Aaron Rodgers play at a fully healthy level, he won back-to-back MVPs. And I think this roster, top to bottom, is way more talented than what he was working with in Green Bay. You start off with his number one receiver in Garrett Wilson, who is an absolute superstar in the making at the position. Excellent hands. He's got an offensive line now that I think is going to do a good job at protecting him. Olu Fashanu, their first-round pick, has looked really solid in preseason. He's not even going to be the starting tackle. You brought in Tyron Smith, who's coming off a very good year for the Cowboys. You bring in Morgan Moses from the Ravens. Elijah Vera Tucker's been consistent. You're hoping for development from some of these young guys. You bring in a guy like John Simpson as well from Baltimore. And now you're looking at this offensive line like, okay, we think we can keep Rodgers protected. You also have weapons for him. Breece Hall is one of the best receiving backs in the league right now. You obviously got Garrett Wilson in the mix. You brought in Mike Williams, who I believe just got off the PUP list. And now with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers in the mix, you're thinking, okay, we have a shot here. I don't think Rodgers has to do too much to win this award. He's coming off an Achilles tear about 6 snaps into the season. When we did get to see him in the preseason, he looked pretty sharp. Some of the clips coming out of Jets camp are promising. That should give Jets fans a little bit of excitement. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be the comeback player of the year this year. He's one of the most talented quarterbacks that's ever played this position. He's got a good roster around him of players that I think are going to help build him up. And I don't think he has to do much. I think if you see a similar season to what he posted in 2022, where it wasn't his MVP year, but it was his last kind of fully healthy season there, I believe he had like 26 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. The Packers they didn't make the playoffs that year. I think if you get a season like that from Aaron Rodgers, he will win this award. Obviously, we mentioned some of the other guys that are going to be in the mix. You got a Joe Burrow in there. Trayvon Diggs you could put in the mix. You got a Anthony Richardson. But I think Aaron Rodgers, the story is going to be too good with a almost 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles tear, leading a impoverished franchise back to the playoffs, which I do believe he's going to be able to do. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to take home this award. Moving on, we've got Laiatu Latu as the Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now, this is the second Colt here. I promise you there are no more. Obviously, I'm a Colts fan if you guys are new. Laiatu Latu has been one of the most impressive players in camp for me as a Colts fan. I think I would probably put him second behind my guy from last year, Adetomiwa Adebawore, but Laiatu Latu really didn't see much action in the preseason. I believe he played 16 total snaps in the whole preseason. I think we saw what we needed to see in the preseason. This is a guy that showed that explosiveness off the edge that we saw at UCLA, and I think that was a lot of people's biggest concern with him outside of the injuries. How explosive is he going to be when you're comparing him to Jared Verse and Dallas Turner, who tested off the charts? Laiatu Latu showed that explosiveness. He got off the edge quickly, made plays in the backfield. I think the play in the preseason against Garrett Bowles, where he didn't quite get the sack, but Garrett Bowles is top half of the league left tackle, really did a good job of selling the move, winning with bend, but that's not where he wins. He has a plethora of pass rush moves that he can go to at any point. We saw it in the sack against Cincinnati, the cross chop, the ability to win, convert speed to power. He's got a really, really good bull rush. He's got the ability to go to a swim, a cross chop at any given time, and he's going to be given the opportunity. I think when you look at a guy like Dallas Turner, I'm not sure how much we're going to see him this year. Yes, the athleticism's there, but Andrew Van Ginkel is going to get a lot of snaps. Jonathan Grenard, he might be a rotational guy. I think Laiatu Latu is going to be a starter week 1. I thought he was going to be prior to the Ebukam injury, and I think afterwards that just further guarantees that he is going to be starting for Indianapolis off the edge. I think he's one of the best defensive players that I've watched. He was a top 10 player in the class for me last year. I think he is one of the most polished edge rushers we have. I think he's going to hit double-digit sacks as a rookie. He is going to be a huge part of a good defensive line. He's going to get one-on-one matchups because you have to account for DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, and Kwity Paye showed some stuff this preseason as well. He's going to get one-on-one matchups, and if he's in a box one-on-one, he's going to win those battles. I think Laiatu Latu is a player that the odds are kind of against him. I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about Latu as Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think we need to be discussing those because I think he's got just as good of a chance, if not better, than any of the other guys mentioned, and I think he will be the Defensive Rookie of the Year this upcoming season. For the Offensive Rookie of the Year, I really wanted to go against the grain here. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be out of this world. Malik Neighbors was very good in preseason, but I got a lot of concerns about the quarterback situation there in New York. Bo Nix is my sleeper for this award because I think in that Sean Payton system, he's going to get a lot of easy looks. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He's going to put up good numbers. I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if he is the winner of this award, if we see him put up like C.J. Stroud type rookie numbers. But I got to go with my guy, and it is Caleb Williams. I think the Bears are going to be really good this year, and I think that kind of plays into this. Caleb Williams, I think, has a very real chance of breaking the Bears' all-time passing record in season as a rookie. What we saw from him in the first 2 preseason games, yes, it's preseason, should get Bears fans unbelievably excited. And It's why I was on the record saying you have to take this guy no matter what team you were, because he has some of the most undeniable talent, arm strength, abilities that we've ever seen at the quarterback position. And you just look at that game against Cincinnati. He started off slow. He wasn't getting the ball out quickly, made some missed reads. There was some miscommunication issues early. The way he finished that game, where he had the unbelievable rushing touchdown where he got out of the pocket, avoided pressure, got outside, kept his eyes downfield, and then still was able to decide to take off and run. That was special. I know everyone's like, oh, we've seen Justin Fields do this, but we haven't. We haven't seen a Bears quarterback who can get out of the pocket and run. Fields did that. What Fields didn't do was keep his eyes down the field, looking around for the open guy. That was the most impressive part of that play to me. It wasn't the fact that, yeah, he took off and ran with his legs. He had the ability to keep his eyes down the field. He's looking to pass the ball. He scanned the field. He read his progressions incredibly well. His ability on play action, on the move, these off-platform throws where he can just fit it into the tightest of windows, it's special. The pass to Rome Odunze was one of the best throws we saw from any quarterback in the league through all of preseason. Caleb Williams is going to be a very, very good quarterback right out the gate. I really don't have any questions about that. He's got the arm talent. He's got the talent around him with one of the best wide receiver trios in the league. The only thing I think could hold him back from winning this award is Shane Waldron, because I thought his coaching was pretty terrible in the preseason. And if we see more of that, I think that could really hurt Caleb Williams. But I'm really high on the Bears. I think they're going to be a playoff team this year. I think Caleb Williams is going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think the talent is there. He's got the skill set to win this award. He's got the positions around him that are going to help boost him up. And I'm all in on Caleb Williams to win Offensive Rookie of the Year this season. Offensive Player of the Year for me, it's going to be a pretty easy one. I think it's Tyreek Hill. I thought he should have won it last year. You take Christian McCaffrey off that Niners team, we've seen what they are. They're a good team. They're going to be in the playoffs. You take Tyreek Hill off this Dolphins team, it changes the entire landscape of the AFC, and the Dolphins are nowhere near a playoff team. Tyreek Hill was voted as the best player in the NFL by his peers, and while I think that's outrageous when you have Patrick Mahomes in the league, Tyreek Hill is unbelievable, and what he does for this Dolphins team week in and week out, it's just special. We don't have another player like him in the league. The speed is one thing, but he's got incredible hands. Yes, he has some drops, but he's got the ball tracking abilities. He's a very good route runner, and the way he breaks out of his route super quickly, makes himself open. You can't replace Tyreek Hill on this team. He was very close to hitting that 2,000-yard mark last year. I said he would. I think he's got a very real chance to do that again this year. I think if he puts up another season like he did last year, not only do I think you can't not give him the award again, I also think you got to start talking about him as one of the 10 best receivers, maybe the 5 best receivers we've ever seen, because the speed is undeniable. We know that. But what he does, the nuances in his game, the different ways he can get him involved. Yeah, he's a smaller guy, but he doesn't play like a smaller guy. He plays up to the competition. He's got physicality at the catch point. He's got elite ball tracking abilities. Tyreek Hill is going to be a huge part of this Dolphins team. The Dolphins are one of those teams that I'm going back and forth in my mind on, like trying to figure out how I want to incorporate them into my season rankings, which you guys will see tomorrow. But I think Tyreek Hill is good enough to win you 4 or 5 games. I think he is the most impactful non-quarterback on the offensive side of the ball in the league. And I got him coming in and winning the Offensive Player of the Year award. The Defensive Player of the Year award, really interesting, because obviously you're going to have Steelers fans in my comments talking about how TJ Watt should get it. You're going to have Browns fans in my comments talking about how Myles Garrett should get it. I don't think either of them are going to take it home. I do think Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the league, but I don't think he's going to win it for the second year in a row. I've got it going to Micah Parsons. Now, Micah Parsons, outside of Tyreek Hill, one of the most athletic players that we have in the league. He is one of the most impressive pass rushers that is in the league today. His ability to just beat the tackle to the outside is incredible because he has such a quick first step. He is so electric off the snap. Offensive linemen have to react to that, and they play a little bit further out because they know he's going to win to the outside. But it's more than that. He had 103 total pressures last year. You're not getting that with just speed. His bull rush is incredibly impressive, the way that he just puts his head down and just barrels into the offensive lineman. On top of that, he's got finesse. He's got the ability to win with swim moves and get into the backfield with finesse, which you love to see. He's a very solid run defender as well because he's a linebacker. That's what Dallas has him as. He's playing as a designated pass rusher. He only rushes the quarterback about 60% of the time. And when he does, he makes stuff happen. I believe he had 18 sacks last year, 103 total pressures. And that's with guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, Dorrance Armstrong. You had guys on that team. The reason I got Parsons winning it, he's got to step up for this team. And I think he's going to be up for the call. You lost Dorrance Armstrong. You lost Dan Quinn. Those are two major losses for this team. And then Sam Williams, he goes down in the preseason. Those are rotational edge pieces for this team that are no longer going to be with the team this year. Parsons has a huge responsibility. I think he's up for it, though. I think he is one of the most impressive defensive players in the league. The speed cannot be denied, and I think on a Dallas team that's going to have a lot of national attention, Parsons is going to be right there to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. I think he's going to take home the trophy for the first time in his career. And the final award we're going to talk about here is going to be the MVP. You could go give this to a number of guys. This is totally projection, but I'm going to go with one of my guys, a guy that I'm all in on this upcoming season. And, well, it's Jordan Love. Jordan Love is my pick to win the MVP this year. What we saw from him in the second half of last season was some of the best quarterback play in the league. I would say probably top 10 in the league right now. I think I had him at number 8 on my list. He is unbelievable. I mean, some of the throws that he makes just leave your jaw dropped. His ability to throw on the run, his ability to fit the ball into tight windows, throw the ball at a million different angles. It's incredibly impressive. This is the youngest Packers team in the league. They're the youngest roster in the NFL. And Jordan Love elevates that team to not only being one of the best teams of football, they're a legit contender this year because of him. They're not going to lean on the run game too much, even though I like Josh Jacobs. I think he's a player I'm targeting in fantasy. Jordan Love is the offense for this team. He's got the arm. He showcased that at Utah State, but some of the throws he made with defenders in his face, off balance, off his back foot, just slinging it. He is incredible. He's got weapons to dispose the ball to. He's in a very, very good system with Matt LaFleur. I'm all in on Green Bay this year. I think Jordan Love is going to have an incredible season. I think he's going to have almost 40, maybe more than 40 touchdowns. He's not going to turn the ball over as much. You do worry about accuracy with him a little bit, but I think Jordan Love is going to be an awesome quarterback to watch this year, and he is my pick to win the MVP award, which might be controversial to some, but like I said, I'm all in on Green Bay. I think they're going to win a lot of football games, and I think Jordan Love is going to be the reason why. But those are my picks to win the different awards this upcoming season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know who you guys think are going to win each and every award, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Adios.